Welcome back to the channel, guys. How's everything going? We got a big Thursday night ahead of us. It's actually a loaded card. A lot of games that I have circled on my card, but just a handful of them that I'm going to discuss with you guys this morning. Guys, before we get started, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get right into it with Thursday night action on the gridiron. You got the Baltimore Ravens minus 7.5 on the road against the Miami Dolphins. Guys, we had a 5-star just a handful of days ago on this Baltimore Ravens team against the Chicago Bears. And they absolutely whipped the Chicago Bears just like I predicted that they would last week. However, guys, I talk to you guys about this every single Thursday. Thursday night football is a whole different type of animal. You got teams on short rest, lack of preparation, and you see a lot of funky things happening on Thursday night football that you don't usually see on Sundays, for one. Historically, road teams on Thursday do not fare very well. And if I'm being 100% honest with you guys, I don't love taking Thursday night football games. However, I do have a pick for you guys for this game, multiple picks actually, and some additional insight that I want to just throw in there. Let's start with this Ravens team. I talked to you guys about this team going into last week against the Chicago Bears. I specifically said this was a sleeping giant. This giant is now slowly starting to wake up. We saw Tyler Huntley last week against the Chicago Bears, a very poor and hurt, I should mention, Chicago Bears defense, move the ball up and down the field and put 30 on the Chicago Bears. We now obviously have Lamar Jackson back. He's healthy and he's ready to go. I see a ton of people now starting to fall in love with this Baltimore Ravens team moving forward. And in general, I agree with that sentiment. However, I think it's a little bit too early for us to be laying 7.5 points in this spot with this Ravens team. And I'll tell you a couple different reasons why. Number one, Ravens laying 7.5. I talk to you guys about this every day. You have to look at numbers. Ravens laying 7.5 at Miami. This is peak Ravens pricing. What do I mean by that? This is the Ravens at their absolute best. AFC Championship caliber Baltimore Ravens team would be laying roughly 7.5 points in this spot. There's not a ton difference, guys, between 7.5, 8.5, 9.5 in this league. When the Ravens are at their absolute best, when Lamar Jackson is playing MVP caliber football, when the Ravens are sound on defense, and I'll get to that here in just a second, in this exact spot, there's no way the Ravens are laying much more than 7.5, 8.5, or 9.5. They're not going to be 14-point favorites. So what I'm telling you here, guys, is you're getting the Ravens at the most expensive price possible, and it doesn't warrant that. Why doesn't it warrant that? Number one, Lamar's been out for, I think, 3 games, at least 3 games. Number two, this defense, while it is starting to perform better, is nowhere close to elite level Ravens defense that we've seen of years past. Number three, it's Thursday night. They're on the road. Lack of preparation. Lack of time to prep, I should say. Lack of practice time. There's too many different factors that play into this equation for me to sit here and tell you guys the Ravens minus 7.5 is the best bet on the board. I would not recommend that. Let me talk about some positives, obviously, because I'm going to get into my pick here in just a second. A couple different picks that I have. The positive, obviously, is you're getting Lamar back. And this offense last week was able to put up 30 against the Bears defense. They're moving up the ball up and down the field with Tyler Huntley. I think you're going to see Lamar essentially hit the ground running. I don't think you're going to see a ton of rust from him. He's returning to South Florida. For those of you that don't know, he's from South Florida. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if he's got hundreds of people at this game watching. That's where he grew up. That's where he played high school ball. Obviously, he went to Louisville thereafter, and now he's in Baltimore. He's going to be ready for this game. Mentally and physically, he will be ready. I think this Ravens team is going to put up some points, enough points to eventually win this game. However, defensively, the Bears were still able, even though they only put up 16 points, to move the ball up and down the field, and they even outgained the Ravens in total yardage last week. So while this defense is improving, to expect them to cover 7.5, there's risk involved there. And obviously there's risk involved no matter what wager you take, but you want to minimize that risk as much as possible. So I talk about numbers and I talk about sweet spots. The Ravens are going to win this game. I'm on board with the rest of essentially America in believing you're going to see a turnaround from this Ravens team. They're going to make a push for the division and for the playoffs. That push has already started. It started last week. It's going to continue tonight. It's not going to fizzle out after one game. The Ravens are going to win this game. The best bet in this game, guys, is the Ravens minus 2.5. And it is pricey. So I'm going to tap the brakes on giving you that play only, and I'm going to tie it in to a parlay with another play that I have for you guys. So just hang on the Ravens right now. The play of the day is a parlay, Ravens minus 2.5. I'll get to the second leg in just a second. A prop bet in this game that I absolutely love is Achane over 12.5 carries. It's basically a pick 'em right now. Why do I like this? Two different reasons. Number one, the Miami Dolphins are coming off of a victory last week against a unimpressive Atlanta Falcons team that was led by Kirk Cousins. I'm not surprised that they won that game. The Ravens, where they struggle, is giving up yardage on the ground. Both of these defenses are weak. The total is at 51.5. That's a huge number. If the Miami Dolphins want to stay competitive in this game, they're going to have success on the ground. They're going to have to play keep away from Lamar Jackson. I do see a game state in which Achane's rushing attempts do go under if they get blown out of the stadium, which is entirely possible, because I just mentioned a moment ago the Ravens are going to win this game. So I wouldn't be shocked whatsoever if they even cover the 7.5. But as I said, there's risk there, so I'm trying to mitigate that risk. So there is a game state where this Achane under 12.5 carries does hit. But if I'm looking at it from Miami's perspective, they know where the Ravens' weakness is. The Ravens' weakness is on the ground. Even the Bears had a ton of success on the ground last week, but the game state got them out of being able to run the ball as much as they wanted to. Swift had a ton of success on the ground last week. Achane is going to have a ton of success on the ground this week. And even if he doesn't have success, McDaniels knows he's going to have to play keep away. He's going to have to run the clock. He's going to have to shorten the game if he wants to keep the Dolphins in this thing and not get blown out of the stadium. So even if Achane isn't having the type of success that we're expecting, he's still going to go over 12.5 carries. Second best bet for this game, because the first bet is the parlay, which I'll get to in the second leg in just a second. Ravens minus 2.5, which is pricey, which is why I'm tying it into a second leg. Second best bet on the board is Achane over 12.5 carries. The Miami Dolphins are going to run the football. They're going to try and establish the run. Even if they're not having as much success as I'm anticipating, they're going to continue to hand the ball off. Achane is probably going to have somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 carries is my guess tonight. Moving on to the second leg of my parlay, guys. I want to go back to the association. I want to go back to the Orlando Magic. And I'm not going back to the Orlando Magic the same way I went to them yesterday. Guys, this Orlando Magic team is on the second night of a back-to-back. They're on the road at the Charlotte Hornets. The line for this game is minus 3.5, and the total is 240. This Orlando Magic team, guys, is horrific. Yes, I took them last night. Yes, they got absolutely battered. They're a terrible team. As I mentioned, they're on the second game of a back-to-back. Their legs are going to be a little bit heavy. They're going to be a little bit tired. This is a team that right now does not defend very well. They've given up 135 points or more in 2 consecutive games. So not only are they not defending well, but they're on the second night of a back-to-back, and guess what? They're on the road at one of the most explosive offenses in the entire NBA. The Charlotte Hornets are putting up as many points per game as anybody. They play as fast as anybody in the league. They shoot the three well. They get to the free throw line relatively well. They control the ball from a turnover perspective on average, so they're not turning it over a ton. Because I'm going heavy price-wise on the Ravens, I'm going to buy this total down, this team total down on the Charlotte Hornets. I want to say that their team total for tonight is at 118. I'm going to buy that all the way down to over minus 111.5, and you can get that parlayed with the Ravens minus 2.5 at minus 130, guys. That's the best bet on the board. The Orlando Magic are not defending well. They've given up, as I said, 135 plus in 2 consecutive games. They're on the second night of a back-to-back. They're playing a super strong team offensively that gets up and down the court quickly, that's going to try and take advantage of the fact that they're on the back end of a back-to-back. And this Hornets team is going to score points. They're probably going to score somewhere in the neighborhood of 120, if not more than that. But because we're going heavy and we're tying it in with the parlay, I want to mitigate the risk. I wouldn't be shocked if the Orlando Magic's head coach is putting a super strong emphasis on defending better tonight. So maybe we see an improvement on that end slightly, but this isn't going to be an improvement where they're giving up less than 112 points tonight. They've given up less than 112 points in 2 games this season, and they've both been against subpar offenses that are in the 20s in the NBA. This is a top 3 offense that they're going up against tonight. And this is an offense that is going to score the ball. I think the Charlotte Hornets win this game. I don't want to bet on the Hornets to win this game because I do think the Orlando Magic in general are a better team. They're just playing horrific basketball right now. So I think the safest bet for tonight, for this game, is to take the over, as I mentioned, 111.5 on the Charlotte Hornets team total. Parlay that in with the Ravens minus 2.5. You can get that at minus 130, guys, at FanDuel. Guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I got a ton of games coming for you guys this weekend. My NFL games are 4-0 in the last 2 weeks. Obviously, I got 2 picks there tonight in the NFL with Achane over rushing attempts. My college bets are 4-2 in the last 3 weeks. I'll have more college action for you guys starting tomorrow. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, guys. I'm going to continue to give you guys winners and bangers. Let's beat the books and cash.